Welcome to the Success Fitness Podcast. I am your host, Christian Evans. This podcast is for adults who wants to achieve success in their fitness journey. And our special guest today, hailing from Thousand Oaks, California, Steve Carver, Business and Product Development Director at Jumpsport.com, will help us do just that by sharing his story of how trampolining exercises can help with the current mental health crisis, what makes rebounding exercises more effective compared to jogging, and what over 30 years in the fitness industry has taught him. Without further ado, Success Fitness family, please welcome Steve Carver to the podcast. How you doing, Steve?
Good, Christian. Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate being on your show.
No problem. It's an honor. It's an honor. So you're in Thousand Oaks, California currently right now?
I am. That's in Southern California. It's if people want kind of a reference to that, I'm inland from Malibu, California, like where all the celebrities live at the beach. But, you know.
Okay. The beach sounds nice. So what's the temperature out there? What's the weather like today?
Well, we like to call it boring 72. Where I live in this particular valley, it stays relatively the same temperature, like 300 days a year. It's sunny and about 70 degrees. So it's kind of ideal.
Okay, yeah, I'm in Peoria, Illinois, and it's starting to cool off. So it's probably about lower 40s, high 50s, somewhere around there. And it's starting to get cold, which is normal for this time of year. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. So it just makes for that, nostalgic fall weather. You got leaves falling everywhere. You rake the leaves up and then the tree is not done shedding. And then it's like you never did it. You know what I mean? So this is just Midwest living right now. Bonus
workout, right? Shovel leaves. You got to figure out another way to get your exercise in sometimes.
Yeah. So how would you define rebounding exercises?
Okay. A man named George Nissen invented the trampoline, a big trampoline to start, but he then decided he was going to make a much smaller version of that. And it was generally used for gymnastic style programming and things of that nature. It evolved over time where somebody decided that, and these were all spring-based products. So you would jump on it or jump off of it, and it would elevate your height so you could do better tricks or acrobatics or gymnastics of some sort. Well, somebody along the way decided, they realized it was less impactful than doing stuff like that on the ground, which is why we have spring floors and all kinds of other things in gymnastics now that kind of help reduce that impact, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it slowly evolved and fast forward through grandma's trampoline in the 80s and all the programming that you saw in the olden days on spring and the squeaky, kind of joke that people would make. What's grandma doing in there, right? And she would go in, camera pans in, and she's jumping on her little trampoline. Fast forward to 2009, the owner of my company decided that he could build a better mousetrap. So he decided to apply a bungee cord product system to get rid of the springs, to give it a deeper, softer feel so you get even less impact. So let's start with that. Current bungee cord system that Jumpsport offers has 50% less impact than a spring-based trampoline. Okay. So that's one of the key components of why to do it on this platform and that has a trampoline built in. So think about the Jumpsport as the Swiss Army knife of platforms. So people are familiar with BOSU balls and stability beads and all kinds of other things, right? That puts you in an unstable environment.
Right. Okay.
Well, this product does the exact same thing. So if you're doing traditional exercise or just standing on it, you're forced to engage a lot of stability muscles.
Okay. As soon as you said BOSU ball, it now it clicked. Now it clicked. Yeah. Okay.
But the beauty of this product is that it allows you to do cardiovascular. Let's reverse back to the 80s and 90s when aerobics was the craze. Right. Everybody was doing aerobics, right? Then all of a sudden they realized these people were having back injuries and knee injuries and hip injuries because they were jumping up and down on these hard floors, right? And bouncing around in their Reebok shoes that didn't have any support. Sorry, Reebok, about that, but you've gotten a lot better. But back in the 80s and 90s, they were these flat little white shoes that really didn't have a whole lot of structure to them. But you wore those with your leg warmers and you went in there and you sweated for an hour. But we found that doing all of that aerobic, cardio, dance-based programming was just very hard on our body because of the impactive nature of it. So the way that trampolining became very popular is they now can put you on a platform where you can still do your same favorite dance, tune, choreographed program of dance-based moves that you can do in a class, right? With loud music and your friends are all there, but we're going to reduce the impact by at least 50% to start. Well, we've shown that the bungee-based system will reduce ground impact by up to 80%. So that in itself is a huge benefit to everybody along the way. What you also, because of that, because you're in this dynamic surface, your body's having to recruit more muscle tissue just to stabilize being on the platform, right? So therefore, in the process, you're going to burn anywhere from 20 to 30% more calories during a standard workout. And there was a study done, a blind study that was unbeknownst to us, that was done by ACE, the American Council on Exercise, who took our product with our program and did it. We had to test subjects and did it compared to running on a treadmill. And they found that 12 minutes of a workout on the trampoline was equal to 20 minutes of running on a treadmill because of the extra muscle.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and you and I have talked about this earlier about time. How much time do I have to devote to something? Right. And let's say I do only have 20 to 30 minutes. Well, if I can get almost twice the benefit doing something on this platform as opposed to doing it on a treadmill, well, that's a no-brainer to me because time is of the essence and I don't have a lot of it to devote to this and I want to get the maximum amount of results. So This platform allows you to get max benefit from cardiovascular programming.
Before I run, I use my secret weapon to maximize my performance, the Breather Fit. Not only does the Breather Fit strengthen my lung capacity, it helps accelerate recovery from my workouts. All it takes is 10 breaths for 2 sets to maximize performance before my morning runs. Use my code FITBREATHE at checkout to get 20% off. With Breather Fit, you work hard, but breathe easy.
As compared to ground-based or treadmill type of exercising, right?
Right.
That's one benefit from it. One of the other things we found, and our products are used at UCLA Medical Center for kids with, what I would guess they would call them auditory issues, such as autism, Tourette's, other types of things like that. And they found that while these kids were exercising on jump sport, they would actually improve their cognitive attention span. They would pay more attention. They would be happier. They would stop, acting out. And they're like, whoa. So there's a correlation between this type of exercising with the kids and an improved cognitive and as well as mood function for people who already suffer from those kind of problems. So now let's think about you and I. We don't necessarily have a mood problem. Well, let's just say I'm not feeling that great, right? And I get on the trampoline for 3 to 5 minutes, and all of a sudden I'm like, man, I feel good. I feel happy. And the reason that is because when you bounce and you compress your body and you go into zero gravity and you compress your body beyond 1 atmosphere of gravity, your body is going to produce oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, and those are all your happy hormones. So it's a beautiful thing. So you get this extra benefit, right? So I'm working out. And I've done lots of workouts where I'm not really happy. I'm in there. I'm not feeling good. And it elevates my mood a little bit just because
you're moving around and I showed up but you're not giving it. You're like your all. It's still something tinkering in here that just got your mind where you can't just focus 100% on that workout.
And so the trampoline is going to allow you to have more fun while you're doing this because all of those hormones are being released. So that's going to improve your mood, right? So not only does it help people who do have issues with some sort of auditory, I'm going to guess depression, autism, all of those fall into that category of some sort of chemical deficiency that I'm not a doctor. I can't speak to that necessarily. But truthfully, when you release all of those happy hormones, people's mood obviously improves, right?
Right.
So you're going to have a better attitude about what you're doing. You're going to want to work out more. And then knowing that you're going to get almost twice the benefit of doing a treadmill, I'm like, well, there you go. So not only do I get all the happy hormones and the mental benefits, I'm getting the physical benefits and I'm getting them at almost double the rate I would at doing a traditional type of exercise. So those are 3 good reasons. Number 1, why you would want to just do whatever you're doing on the trampoline, right?
I got you. I got you. So with that being said, you brought up something interesting in regards to, 12 minutes compared to, 20 minutes on the treadmill and the impact that it just has physically and then just mentally. When did, like you said, this was a blind study. When did this study, as far as just come out, and what did you all do with that information once that was, once that was presented?
Well, so I think the study was, don't quote me on this, but I think it was about 6 years ago.
Okay.
And since then, we've certainly improved our product. And I think that you will, if somebody looked at what they had at the time to compare to what we offer now, there's probably a wider range of people that can actually use it. We looked at that and said, hey, we want to make sure this is accessible to all types of people, big, little, small, tall, heavy, light, whatever. So we have a very broad product line that we introduced as a result of understanding that this was so much more beneficial to people. Secondly, we also understood that if that was the case, we wondered why. And the study is available on our website. There's a link on at jumpsport.com/fitness. There you can read it yourself. We didn't pay for it. It was done without our knowledge until we found out about it. Most people refer to another study that was done by NASA that talks about bone density and how they use the trampoline to rehabilitate their astronauts after coming back from space. Now, I want to clarify that a little bit. So that particular study was also done on a large trampoline, right? And the throw on a larger trampoline, so it's exponential gravity. And I'm going to tell you why I'm getting into this study as well. So we looked back and said, okay, well, how does the NASA study pertain to what we do as well, right? So if you're getting extra caloric burn, you're recruiting more muscle, you're improving your mood, and your bone density is getting better. So let's let everybody know just all of the health benefits of this, which leads me into, you had talked to me earlier about, well, what about your immune system and your thing? And how that ties in here is that your lymphatic system moves through two vehicles. It moves through movement, which is great, and gravity. And so normally we experience about 1 atmosphere of gravity that keeps us stuck to the earth. Whereas if you're on a jump sport, it will increase gravity at the bottom of the stroke by up to 4 G's of force. So compression, the gravity force that you're experiencing is 4 times what you experience on a daily basis. That creates a pump. And because your lymphatic system has no pump of its own, the lymph needs to be forced through the one-way valves. That pumping action actually helps detoxify your body. And people are like, well, do I have to jump really hard? Do I have to do like those crazy girls where they look like they're riding a horsey and all that? I'm like, no. Here's the thing. We do what we call health bounce, which is basically where you push down into the surface of the trampoline. Your feet never leave the trampoline's surface. But for just a brief moment, you experience zero gravity. And then you fall back into the trampoline. And depending on how hard you push, you can create up to 4 G's, but anything over 1 G is certainly creating a pump. So we talk about a health bounce where you're basically just standing on the trampoline and pressing into the surface of the trampoline. And you do that 10 minutes, twice a day, and you're going to increase lymphatic flow by 15 times.
Wow.
So that's another thing that's really important to understand. So you're detoxifying your body while you're improving your balance, creating more stability, lessening impact. And they're like, well, this is like a genius thing. Well, that's right. So here's the thing. People think it's just for cardiovascular. And the truth is, anytime you put yourself in that unstable environment, your body has to recruit that extra muscle tissue just to stabilize whatever you're doing. So anything you can do in that same surface area on the ground, you can do on top of this platform, which will allow you to have the same benefits while you're lifting weights, while you're doing cardio, while you're stretching, while you're, and there's so many different things that you can do. Pilates, yoga, cardio, aerobics, strength training, plyometrics, HIIT training, all of that can be done on here. And you're going to reduce ground impact by up to 80%. So you're improving your lymphatic flow. You're getting less impact. You're burning more calories. Like, so you wonder why anybody didn't want to do this from the beginning. And I'll get
right.
For me, that was the seller. You understand? I've been in the business for 30 years. I've been a professional trainer, master trainer for multiple companies. And what grabbed me about jump sport is that I can increase my, I don't want to say credibility as a trainer, but my ability to guarantee that I'm going to be able to produce results for anybody from 2 to 102. We like to think that at Jump Sport, we train children from 2 to 102, right? Because it's so fun. But it allowed me to be able to increase my ability to give consistent results without injuries, without impact, without soreness from jumping up and down on the ground. And I know you've probably been through this. Anytime you've done ground-based exercises like plyometrics or hit training where you're jumping and landing or box jumps and back onto the ground, your body just feels beat up, not because of the muscular part of it, but because of the impactive nature of all of those type of exercises. Even though they're very effective, it certainly does a lot of damage to your body.
Yeah. And it's not for everybody. I have one client that I've been working with for probably about like 4 years. And when I first got with him, he just kind of came off just with another trainer and had him doing a lot of plyo exercises. And this guy at that time was in his late 50s. And I questioned the trainer on what was the purpose of you having him do that, and knowing that, with age comes, let's say the increase of being more frail, for lack of a better words. And, the end result, by the time I got to him, his knees was, wasn't to where he would like them to be, for the pain from, just jumping up and down and doing a lot of things that really didn't make any sense. And with that being said, as you said earlier, in regards to how some people could see fitness or take fitness is like a lot of jumping up and down and, the spandex and just up and down, jumping up and down. Now you got people with sore hips, sore knees, sore back and everything like that, because there's a lot of unnecessary movement that happens. So with that being said, what usually happens when somebody has an injury, they get down, they get possibly, depressed. So how does this trampolining exercises and the jump sport, how does this help with dealing with that in mental health as far as, the negative effects of somebody's mental health status? I don't like saying, mental health, because mental health is what I would say. I don't say mental health is a status. You have to know your status. Is it good, or is your mental health good? Is your mental health bad, or, not in good shape? So how can trampolining exercises help with the current state of the mental health crisis?
So increasing your mental wellness, and depression seems to be an epidemic right now in this country. And like I said, if you're releasing all of those happy hormones like oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, all of those things are really important in overcoming those kind of negative self-talk or self-image, and improves your, okay, I'll tell you what, I start working out. I don't feel beat up. I really like doing it. I do it. I become very consistent at it. I start to feel better about myself, right? So that improves my self-esteem. That lessens my likelihood that I'm not going to think very highly of myself. And slowly but surely, it helps build your self-confidence because you're able to stay more consistent without getting injured, right? Or, like you said, that repetitive nature of somebody who's a little bit older. Our body suffers a lot of wear and tear. There's only so many miles you can put on it, especially if you run hard and you run your body very hard. The older you get, the more brittle things become. So everything dries out. So your connective tissue becomes more brittle. The cushioning in your joints becomes more compressed. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, it's kind of like shock absorbers and rubber and things on your car. The longer you drive the car, the more
shocks go out. You got to replace those shocks.
You can't just go back and just change everything. So but sometimes we have to be a little more ginger about how we approach that. But if we can put you in an environment where it's not being destructive, and yet you're getting all the muscular benefit from the exercises that you want to be doing, so that you can maintain a good, healthy appearance, physical prowess just in general, right? Be able to go out and do what you want, play with your grandkids, go run go for a hike, go running, go jet skiing, whatever your thing is, right? The trick is to be able to give them a vehicle by which they can engage in a program that allows them not only to enjoy it. That's the key with exercise. You know, one of the main things why people quit is because it's boring and it's not fun and it hurts. So if I can take away a lot of that and make people enjoy coming to use this product to work out, then I get them to work out more often. That improves their mental wellness. I like to think of it more as a mental wellness. So where do you land on that scale? Am I a little low today? Am I a 2 on my mental wellness, or am I a 10? Right? And I think that you can be a 2 or 3, get on that trampoline, and your wellness level will go up 2-3 clicks just by jumping on the trampoline, not even doing a hard workout, just doing a health bounce. It's going to improve your mood because of those hormone releases. Okay. So that would be the answer to your question. The reason that the trampoline is a much better vehicle and how it will help you with your depression or mental wellness level is because you're going to release a lot of happy hormones as a result of jumping on the trampoline.
Gotcha. Now, with 30 plus years in the fitness industry, how did you get started into being a personal trainer, or just your entry into personal training, or just the fitness industry? How did you get started?
Well, I was a youth athlete and I used to lift weights. I think my friend's dad had this is to tell you how old I am, Sears and Roebuck, like weight set with the sand things in the plastic weights that you tape them if they cracked, so. Oh yeah.
My uncle had some, and he, matter of fact, he ended up giving me his, probably about 10, 12 years ago. And I had his set, and I always liked it, but those sand, I know you're talking about the plastic with the sand dumbbells or plates or whatever. Yeah.
So I started there, and then I competed, competitively in sports all the way through college. A couple years into college, I played a little football. I just didn't get as big as I would have liked to.
I got you. What position did you play?
I had aspirations to want to be a professional athlete. I just never got big enough. Genetics were not on my side, and I just didn't get to a size that was going to be conducive for me not to just get destroyed.
What position did you play?
I was a slot wide receiver.
Okay.
I played a little DB. I returned punts, things like that. So, I never got to that 200-pound range. And about 6 foot, 200, 210 would be perfect. I was like 185, and I was really strong. But when a guy when there's 2 trains coming and physics, it's 265 or 275 pounds versus 185 pounds traveling at the same rate, the lighter thing is going to suffer the consequences of that. So I moved on from that. And then the funny thing is I got into fitness by accident. I was working in the construction industry and things kind of went sideways, and I was going to the gym every day because it was the cheapest form of entertainment I had, $1 a day. I thought, wow, what else can I do for $1 a day, right? A couple hours, kill a couple hours of my time. The gym owner saw that I was there at 5 a.m. He's like, would come in with his coffee and like half asleep. And he's like, One day he got to the door, he unlocked the door, and he turns around, he comes to me, he says, "Hey, do you want a job?" I'm like, I don't know, man. I need to find a job doing. He's like, well, but until you get one, can you work at the gym? I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? So a couple months into like doing stuff and opening the gym and checking people in, he comes and he says, "Hey, do you want to be a trainer?" I'm like, I don't know anything about that. He says, No, you do. I watched you. You're really good at this. And mind you, this was long before we had certifications. You either had a degree in exercise physiology or kinesiology, and then you became a trainer somehow through your education. But training certifications didn't really exist. So I became a floor trainer, and I did that for a while. And then I started taking on personal clients, and one thing led to another. I live in an area where there's lots of celebrities. I started training some celebrities, and I became the trainer to the stars, and I started lecturing and touring and doing a bunch of things. And fast forward 20 years into my career, I get hired to be a trainer on a show called Dud to Stud, which is a show that was on Spike TV, and Jump Sport was one of our sponsors. So they told me, "Hey, you need to use this as your part of your training. They're one of our sponsors." And I'm like, look at it. I'm like, okay, it's like grandma's trampoline. I'm thinking, I know
what I'm going to do with this.
What am I going to do with this? Then I got it. And I was like, this thing is amazing, because you could use the frame. I could jump on and off of it. I use it as a jump box, the less impact. I could have people do sprints after doing ground-based like strength training, and I could transition without having to run them back to the cardio or have them run down the street and come back.
Right.
Just have them right next to me and I can move the trampoline. It weighs 20 pounds. I move it around, right?
Yeah.
Well, one thing leads to another. Now, I take the trampoline after the show is over and I start doing crazy stuff on it because my background is acrobatics and gymnastics. And so I'm taking this trampoline and I'm doing stuff that they wasn't recommended to be doing. And they contact me and they say, hey, we were wondering if you'd like to do demo for us at a show.
Yeah.
So I go and I work a show for them, and one thing led to another. Then I became their trade show director, and then I became what was called their senior fitness advisor. So I advised them on all things fitness, so programming, education, implementation. Slowly but surely, I worked my way up, and about 7 years ago, I got promoted to the business and product development director, which is kind of a weird thing. It's two hats. So one of them is I work with all of our B2B clients, such as we have some pretty big heavy hitters like Life Fitness, and we have some major gyms like LA Fitness International has a new brand called Club Studio. We have product in there. They have a whole program that is all revolves around using the trampolines as their primary fitness tool. Right. So because of the versatility of it, it allows them to do all kinds of methodology using this platform.
Yeah.
And I have slowly but surely taken what my owner originally created, and I have innovated it and updated it and upgraded it to what we have now, which is a pretty amazing piece of fitness equipment that people can use for just about anything you can think of that you can do in that space. You can do on this platform. And like I told you earlier, it increases your caloric output. It's less impactive, less injuries. It's good for your lymphatic system. So it became really popular that trainers started to adapt their programming onto this product to celebrities. And one thing led to another. And now we've got a multitude, people like Ava Longoria, Kate Beckinsale. I'll go old school. Goldie Hawn, Cher has gotten trampolines. I've personally delivered them to her house. So from young to old, it's a very popular vehicle by which people can do something really fun, and they can engage in the type of programming that they really love without all of the impactive negative effects that those programs use to create. And so that's one of the beautiful things about this and why people have really gravitated towards using this product.
Yeah, and it takes up less space too, with, the advent of, 2020 of, COVID and the increase of people building their home gyms, and I just probably got my final pieces of my home gym in 2019, and then boom, 2020 happened, and then we're all on lockdown, and by the grace of God, I had everything I needed, in my home to, take care of myself, as far as mental health, just making sure, I'm not focusing so much on the news and thinking, hey, if I go out and breathe, I'll die, and then just keeping up with myself, just physical body. And when you add stuff to your home gym, obviously there's space that's needed. So I can only imagine the benefits of, the trampoline, having that within your home, how it doesn't really take up that much space. You can kind of just put it, lay it on the side or wherever. It's not going to take up that much space as compared to some other type of equipment, a treadmill. Like I have a Life Fitness treadmill in my home. It takes up quite a bit of space. Also a Life Fitness stationary bike. So just with that being said, I bet you that had, a lot of benefits for those who are building their home gyms. Now,
well, not only that, but it's green. It doesn't require electricity. You don't have to plug it in.
Yeah, that's another.
So you can use it in your living room. You can use it in the thing. You can use it on your back patio. As long as you have a nice, stable, flat surface, the trampoline allows you to take that cardio component anywhere you want. Right.
Right. Now, for a personal record, what's the longest you've done an exercise on the trampoline?
My personal favorite on the trampoline is I love HIIT training. I love very explosive, hit it, rest, 20, 30 minutes in and out, right? That's the way I like to do my cardio.
I got you.
I have done longer classes with I've seen just about every kind of program you can think of, and there are plenty of bounce enthusiasts, which is what I like to call them, that can bounce way longer than me.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
I'm just a big fan of hit it and quit it as far as the cardio. I like the weight training a lot more. And I'm going to tell you, this platform, doing your weight training, single-legged work, balancing more, my core has gotten exponentially stronger and not doing more core work. I didn't know I was doing core work while I was bouncing on the trampoline. So the more vigorously you bounce on the trampoline, the more you engage your core. So I was really surprised, not that my core was weak, but how much stronger it got by just doing my exercises on this platform. Number one. So that's it. But that's my favorite thing to do. And, I've done about an hour class and I'm wet and sweaty and just beat up. And, those girls can go way more than me. I'm more of like I said to you, I like circuit training, hit training. And the beautiful thing about it is, if you incorporate it, it's really good with other pieces of equipment, right? So
I can only imagine, because I program a lot of hit training for my clients. Now, I'm curious to know, you programmed hit training or circuit training. What are your intervals as far as for work and rest? And give me an example of how you would pair, or what you would pair the trampoline exercises with in regards to weight in your hit. I don't want to get too deep into what is hit training, and the truth is lots of books written about that. But remember, hit training is designated as a 3-to-1, 2-to-1, or 1-to-1 ratio, right, of work to rest, and generally does not exceed 30 seconds of output, because they have found the most fit athletes, the Olympic trained, the most fit people we know on the planet, cannot maintain all out output for more than 45 seconds. So if you're doing anything probably longer than 30 seconds as a normal human being, my favorite is what people would consider Tabata, which is 2-to-1, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest, 8 sets of 8 exercises. So it's kind of a fun thing. It's about 32 minutes, excluding warm up and cool down. You're in and out. You're going all out, and by the end of it, you're really not going all out anymore. You're you are going all out because you don't have anything left. But in that, you'd be surprised, in 32 minutes, you can literally leave it all on the field, right? Yeah, for sure. Because HIIT training was originally designed for a post-workout workout. It was designed to be about 4 minutes long. Because you're trying to delve into muscle tissue that exists that you hardly ever tap into, except when at complete exhaustion, right? Gotcha. You've used all the glucose and all the other muscle tissue in your body, and it's that last fight or flight. You're being chased by a lion, and they're going to eat you, and you've already run 6 miles, but you got to run just a little bit more, and your body somehow finds that where it came from, you don't know. Well, that's muscle tissue that's held in reserve. And that HIIT training is supposed to tap into that. Gotcha. But we turned it into a workout now, right? So it's become more than what it was originally intended for. And I think it's a great tool, especially if somebody's trying to maintain muscularity and still get some good cardio in. So it's a great vehicle to be able to not cannibalize your muscle tissue while getting your cardio in. That's why I love it. Right? Because ideally, you and I both know the key to all of this is metabolism. Right? And we talked about being 50, right? I turned 61 years old in next Monday. Oh, well, happy early birthday. You look fantastic, bro. Hey, and I'm going to tell you something. The 13 years that I've been using this trampoline, I credit a lot to why I have the longevity that I did. I was one of those people that beat the living you-know-what out of my body. And over the last 13 years, I've been far more forgiving to myself, and using this platform has allowed me to still train as hard as I want without all that impact. And that has given me much more longevity in terms of how long and how hard I can work out and still be able to maintain a good muscular physique, right? People say after 50, you can't
you can't do this and you can't do that. Well, the biggest problem is the impact on your body.
Yeah.
Is what's prohibiting you from doing that. But if I can get all the muscular benefits and very little of the impactive nature of those exercises, then to me, that was a no-brainer. And I really do credit that. Now, one of the things we didn't talk about is that compressive nature of the trampoline and how it operates actually works all the way in every other system of your body. So even though your heart is a pump, it helps assist moving fluid as it compresses you through your body. Your endocrine system, right? Your digestive system, your circulatory system, all of those things are benefited by that pumping action. So it takes less stress off of everything else and allows your body to work more efficiently. If I'm detoxifying my body more often, my body's ability to cleanse itself and keep my body working optimally improves my what? My immune system, right? So it is a great tool if you're really trying to stay healthy, especially during the winter months and you have nowhere to go and you're stuck inside. It's a very small platform that allows you to do all these exercises, but you're improving your health. And let's talk about that a little bit. So, we're talking about being 50 years old and men, and most men, if you live long enough, will have prostate cancer, right? Most people don't understand what that's caused by. So your prostate, as your pelvic floor starts to become very weak, your prostate just gets beat around and it gets more and more swollen a lot of times. And as a result of that, you have issues. So if your pelvic floor is nice and tight and it holds your prostate nice and tight in place, it's going to prolong until you actually have to suffer the consequences of being a man, and prostate cancer will be one of our realities at some point. Now, do we want it to be at 60 or do we want it to be at 100? Right. So that's really the key to that. And that works the same for women. So women from having babies or sitting and your pelvic floor, which used to be nice and taut, becomes like a hammock. And so bouncing on the trampoline, even in a health bounce, is going to improve the tension of your pelvic floor, holding your bladder in place, which helps prevent incontinence. So people are like, I don't want to bounce because I'm going to, I might have to go to the bathroom. Well, I said, that's fine. So then just go. But over time, you're going to find that as your pelvic floor improves, you're going to stop doing that. Or it'll be longer and longer and longer between having to do that. And I found this out from women, that it was an amazing gift that I gave them back the ability to fix their incontinence. So they would laugh too hard or they would run and they would, unfortunately pee their pants. Yeah. The truth is, using the trampoline was a vehicle by which they can improve their health in that particular area, so much so that didn't happen anymore. So, and I'm not an expert on that. I'm just sharing information that other people have shared with me. So,
yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. What other, I would say, because like you just said, you're not an expert in that area. What other exercises would you recommend after 30 years of being in the fitness industry to, I guess, tighten that area, pelvic floor, or help reduce that incontinence in addition to the trampoline?
Well, my understanding is that you would do Kegel exercises. So that's an important component in being able to, that's something you can do on your own. Like I said, not an expert in this. Women have told me it's very difficult to target that. And the trampoline is a great gift to not have to use some other device or think specifically, because not everybody, as you well know, have this good mind muscle connection, right?
Yes.
If you don't already have that and you haven't already been working on it, sometimes it makes it very difficult to actually target the area that you think you want to work.
Yeah.
So for me, this is just a no-brainer in terms of a very valuable tool that somebody can use that doesn't know anything about it, doesn't have to have mind-muscle connection or any of that, and it will force you to actually engage your pelvic floor. Doing a very basic thing called the health bounce, which I told you is not ever leaving the surface of the trampoline.
I got you. Just pressing.
And look, if you feel uncomfortable with that, you can use a handlebar accessories that allows you to be very stable. And so you feel very comfortable on there. And I promise you, most people say, I need a handlebar. So I give them one. And 5 minutes later, they're like, can you take the handlebar off? I'm like, wait, I thought you needed the handlebar. I know, I feel pretty good now. It's really stable. I thought it was going to be different.
Yeah.
So that's one of the beautiful things about this. There's a very quick learning curve. But we do have handlebars for people that don't have good balance, or they struggle from injury, or They have some other issues that require them to have more stability in what they're doing. But it's also those people benefit greatly from the non-impactive nature of the trampoline.
I got you. One of the last questions I'll ask, what is jumpsport.com about and who is it for?
Well, like I told you earlier, we like to think that we're good for children between the ages of 2 and 102, right? And where fitness meets fun. I've never seen anybody not exercise on our product that doesn't smile, that doesn't get a big smile on their face, because it reminds them of jumping on the bed or jumping on grandma's trampoline or the backyard trampoline or some other thing. And so truthfully, Jump Sport is about community. Like we just had a big event and we had 150 competitors at what we called the Jump Sport Games. And we thought this was going to be some type of competition and people would be very competitive. And what we found is that the trampoline brought everybody together in this giant community, and they were all cheering on not only their own team, but other teams and people that weren't on teams. And it was the most beautiful, like heartwarming thing for me personally to watch people, because I've been a competitor my whole life and I'm not cheering for, like you're right. Star back in the day. Like, you're my enemy right now in this competition. I love you, brother, but you're my enemy.
Right.
And it wasn't like that at all. It was community, it was cheering. It just brings people together in this kind of fun camaraderie that I don't even know how to explain it to you. So we're all about that. We're all about community and family. And if people use our product, we consider them part of our family. So that's really what Jump Sport is all about. Secondly, is to give you a very fun, safe, effective way to actually engage in exercise and bring fitness into your life. And I'm telling you, if you like doing it, you will do it. And the greatest question I was ever asked as a trainer of 30 years, Steve, what's the best workout I can do? And it's a very simple answer. The one that you'll do. Right? So if I told you, it doesn't matter what I told you is the greatest exercise program in the world. If you won't do it, if you don't like it, then it's not. Right. So the greatest one is the one that you'll do. And I found that there are very few people that don't love exercising on the Jump Sport.
Gotcha. Tell everyone where they can reach you at if they want to connect with you personally, in addition to jumpsport.com, whether it's website, Instagram, Facebook. Let everybody know where they can reach you.
Well, at Jump Sport Fitness is our Instagram handle, so you can DM. And if you reach out to me and put in there, hey, I want to give this message to Steve, I will get the message. I personally work with our social media manager, and she forwards all messages that are directly to me. They can go to jumpsport.com/fitness. All the things we talked about, there's links, the NASA study, the ACE study, all of that is on the website. I think that's your main two things. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter, X, whatever it is now.
Yeah, whatever they want to call themselves today.
We have a YouTube channel. It's Jump Sport Fitness, so they can get free workouts if they want to see what people do. And there's plenty of exercises available. It gives you an idea of what we do, how we do it. And like I said, we're one big family, and we'd be happy to have anybody on board. We're even very accepting of people that just bounce, even if they're not using our product, because again, when we bounce together, we're happy together, and the world will all sing Kumbaya and have a great time if we actually are all bouncing.
We're all going to sing Kumbaya while we're still bouncing. You heard it here first from Mr. Steve Carver of jumpsport.com. This brings us to the end of another episode of the Success Fitness Podcast. And if you found inspiration in today's podcast and would like to support, then sign up to my weekly newsletter, the Success Fitness Newsletter. You'll get access to my new ebook, How Many Calories Should I Eat? It's a guide with resources within to find your daily caloric intake to ensure success in reaching your fitness goals. You'll also get access to my private Facebook community, Success Fitness Family, and weekly emails when this podcast publishes every Sunday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. The link to sign up to the Success Fitness newsletter will be in the description, as well as all of Steve Carver's information. Thank you for listening to the Success Fitness Podcast. And remember, if it's not making you stronger, simply chant more weight, more weight, more weight. Peace out.
Are you hungry but only have 30 minutes to meal prep? Then download my new e-cookbook, What's a Meal Prep, at successfitnessstore.com. You will get 3 step-by-step written and visual recipes for one high-protein meal that's under 600 calories. I'll help you cook fresh salmon, steam fresh broccoli, and quinoa in under 30 minutes to help you stay on track of your fitness goals. So go to successfitnessstore.com to download your copy today.